In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? The media product that we produce both develops and challenges real media products. The secret behind the door starts off as a typical thriller, enticing the audience and drawing them in. Along with the protagonist, they are left guessing what is going to happen next and what is the creepy character up to. We used a short film titled The Professional as a case study film and took major inspiration from that, as a plot twist was something that we really wanted to focus our narrative around. We took inspiration from some of the basic camera work that the short film used, such as a reaction shot where the main character of our short film found a bloody t-shirt on the floor, and when the plot twist was occurring, much like the reaction shot in our case study film, where he is vaping, and then once again when the character has opened the guitar case. Both of these are similar, as there is one shot where the character looks confused, such as the bloody t-shirt on the floor in our film and the guitar case in our short film case study, and an ordinary shot just showing a reaction, so the explanation in our short film and the vaping in our case study film.
In The Professional, there are a few journey shots. These journey sequences mainly use tracking shots. We decided to try and imitate this style in our short film. To try and build tension in some of these scenes, we added our own music, just like in the case study. However, unlike in The Professional, we had our own piano music, whereas the soundtrack in the case study is very heavy and drum-based. Into consideration much when analysing and producing short films, both of these fit into the thriller genre. Thrillers contain both heavy and light music using an assortment of instruments. We use both of these types of music. In the montage sequence, we use the bass to create a very heavy piece of music, in which we tried to mimic one from The Professional. This was to build up tension, as you could see one character pinning things down to a corkboard, whilst the other was wrapping tape around two poles. One character was shown to be more assertive and one step ahead of the game than the other. The second piece of music was much lighter and consisted of a violin and a piano. We used the lower end of the keyboard and slowly brought the pitch up before slowly fading it out. This gave a rising feeling of tension.
The main narrative convention we focused on was the plot twist, which was quite a popular convention in the thriller genre. We wanted to convey the older man as a creepy murderer before flipping the story on its head and revealing what he is actually doing, which was actually making a dress for his missing granddaughter. Plot twists generally leave audiences feeling confused and guilty for being misled and judging characters before learning the truth or finding out something completely different. They are also very effective when it comes to twisting the audience's perspective and feelings. Alongside the short film, we were also asked to produce two ancillary tasks, which were a magazine review and a poster. My poster follows the conventions of a short film poster, including the basic elements without giving the story away. It features all the details, including the institutional information and even laurels, as well as an image without giving an insight to what the film is actually about. It is also very simple, much like other short film posters. I stuck to a very dark theme to keep with the thriller genre theme and leave the target audience asking questions. My magazine review, on the other hand, also kept to a dark theme reflecting on the genre. It kept to the conventions of a magazine review, with the 3 columns and the extra bits of information and a main focus photo with some extra photos underneath. My main inspirations for the film review was the magazine Sight and Sound and Empire, so I tried to replicate their styles as much as I could, whilst trying to keep to the style of the film and trying to make it unique and individual.
How effective is the combination of your main product and ancillary texts? Over the A2 section of the course, we created a short film as well as 2 ancillary texts. These ancillary texts were a poster for the short film and a magazine review of the short film. When short films are released and distributed, they are mainly shown at short film festivals. A poster of the short film would be on display, and a magazine review would be written about the short film. The magazine review and posters are both promotional material that would help people gain interest for the short film. If our short film was to actually be released and shown at a short film festival, having the 2 ancillary texts would be effective in helping the short film gain an audience. Short film posters are displayed in and outside of cinemas and are on display all around film festivals. Short film posters often show the main actor or actress of the short film and helps to inform the audience on the tone of the text. The colour scheme and fonts will give the audience an idea of what the short film is like. My short film poster was created to look like somebody had pinned many things to a corkboard, relating to the main character's corkboard obsession with the old man character in the short film. I also tried to make the poster seem dark and use many dark colours. This will give people the impression that the short film has a dark theme, as it is a suspenseful thriller. The magazine review that I wrote will give the readers more of an idea of what the short film is about, telling the audience what the plot is about. My magazine review also includes photos taken on set of the filming locations, which will show the audience what the film will look like on screen. The review is also critical of the film, saying where the film falls short, but also praising the film in the areas which were done well. This will help people determine whether it is worth watching the short film.
The combination of the main product and the ancillary tasks all reflect the dark conventions of a thriller. Following the main production of the short film, I then produced my film poster and my magazine review. After multiple attempts at making a poster, I was happy with the final product, as it not only reflected the narrative in the most simplest way, it also reflected the dark thriller theme. Although most thriller posters include black and red, I avoided these cliché colours and stuck with an off-white grey colour. Although they aren't dark colours for a font, they complemented the dark edit of the image. The main image itself included a photo of the corkboard with an image of the man pinned onto it. The corkboard was a pivotal part of our story, as it showed how obsessed the girl was with the man. It leaves, however, whoever sees the poster with questions as to why there is a photo of the man pinned to the corkboard, who is he and what is going on. Tagline "Want to know the truth" can also leave viewers with many questions, which will then lead them on to watch the short film. On the other hand, my magazine review, although not dark, does still show that the short film is a thriller. I focused the review on Empire and Sight and Sound, trying to lighten up the review with some jokes and using Sight and Sound as an inspiration for the layout. I added one main image and 3 smaller images, all taken on set to show potential target audiences what the film is like and who stars in it, unlike in my poster where the main image was on the corkboard was quite blurry. As well as trying to lighten the review with jokes, it is also very critical and straight to the point, picking up on faults and flaws and what we could have done better as a crew. However, I did include some of the things that did go well for us. Instead of the muted grey tones, I used the font colour that I used as the font colour in the poster. I used black with some blue tones for the important information. I used a dark blue accent because I felt that the grey I used in my poster didn't complement the white background of the magazine review and left it looking quite bland.
From everyone that had seen our product, one part of feedback we've received was about the shots in our short film. The old man is shown taping 2 poles together. When this was shown at the film showing, many people were confused as to what he was doing. A lot of people also thought that these 2 poles were a double-barreled shotgun. We did not realise that it looked like this until it was pointed out to us at the film screening. From reviewing the footage, we can clearly see why the audience said this, as it was not obvious to us when we were filming. This clearly shows that the audience can perceive things differently to how film producers intended the footage to be seen. As well as this, not everybody thought it was a double-barreled shotgun, so this could be down to the age of the viewer. When it came to making changes based on the feedback, we decided to leave this shot how it is, as if people perceive the 2 poles as being a shotgun, it would still build the tension around the man. As it is not explicitly shown to be a shotgun, it still leaves the audience wondering about whether or not the man is actually a murderer.
What we received was that the audio levels were inconsistent. Some parts of the short film were louder than others. One of the problems at the screening was when the bass in the montage sequence had split and become a very unpleasant sound. We were quick to fix this after the screening and managed to sort it out using GarageBand and then placing it back into Final Cut Pro 10. We also leveled the sound out in Premiere Pro so then the levels were consistent the whole way through and not an inconsistent pattern of sound it once was. We received feedback saying our short film was too long. It was originally around 2 minutes longer than the advised 5 minutes. We managed to reduce the time of the short film by rearranging the timeline of the short film and cutting out scenes where the actor is travelling. For example, these travel scenes included walking up the stairs, walking to a shop, as well as other shots. These scenes were unnecessary and dragged out the short film without adding any new information. The audience would still be able to understand what is happening without these shots. Since we also didn't have any time to refilm due to certain circumstances, we have rearranged the shots so the narrative made more sense to the viewers. The construction, research, planning and evaluation stages. When researching other short films, the main piece of hardware we used was the computers, which gave us basic access to the internet and then onto YouTube. We were also able to watch many short films and get inspiration for ours. As well as YouTube, another helpful website we used was Short of the Week. This allowed us to watch lots of different short films without having to search YouTube just for one short film amongst many other videos. We use other programs such as Photoshop and Google Slides to collate all the research we had collected before documenting them on our blogs. We use Tumblr to document everything as we found it easy to navigate and straightforward to edit our blogs if we needed to. I also managed to produce a video using the software iMovie, which showed what a short film was. This helped my creative outcome as I became used to editing on a different software before producing the main product. Social media such as Facebook was mainly used when it came to the planning stages. This allowed us to organise not only times but dates and actors. Facebook also came in handy when getting in contact with other crew members, as we could reach them easily and get a response within a matter of hours. We also use programs such as Celltext to produce drafts of the script and then final script, and Excel to come up with the shot list, which was vital when it came to the construction stage. Excel helped us to produce a list of shots that we needed in the construction stage. Google Drive also helped when it came to working on documented slideshows, as we could all access them when we weren't together or weren't in college. This meant that we could all share out the work evenly without having to keep meeting up constantly. The hardware we used to plan the product was a Mac and phones, as it gave us access to the internet so we could share everything and communicate with one another. As well as this, we also used a Canon 1300D to practice filming on, and used it for our practice narrative trial and our shot tests.
When it came to constructing our short film, we decided to edit the footage using Final Cut Pro 10 software. We found this software useful for editing, as one of its features is being able to sync up audio files with audio of video clips. This was important when it came to syncing our audio recording using a Marantz with our footage. Filmed using a Canon 1300D and a Nikon D7100 with an 18 to 55mm lens and a Manfrotto tripod. A Marantz is an audio recording device used to record sound independent of video. This can be useful for getting better quality sound. In one of the scenes, we had to mask half of another shot onto the main shot we used because there was an unwanted item in the shot which broke continuity. This helped patch up the mistake we had made and saved us refilming the scene. The reason we used two cameras to film was due to batteries not being charged up before being used to film, which was a preparation mistake that we made. We used Adobe Premiere Pro to add in the text messages that popped up on screen in the short film, as well as the titles. We also used a Fender Pete bass and a 32-key MIDI keyboard that we connected into the College Max to produce the soundtrack. The software we used to put the soundtrack together and bring it to life was GarageBand. We used digital instruments, which are one of the software's features, to also add a string ensemble along with a Steinway grand piano section to the soundtrack. As well as this, we were supplied with a Seagate 1TB hard drive to put all of our work on, so we could take this anywhere and alter the product as much as we liked if we had the correct programs. The hard drive was very useful, as we could also store our ancillary tasks if we wanted to take them home and alter them. The hard drive also functioned as a secure backup of all our files.
To produce this evaluation, we have used Google Docs, which is accessible from Google Drive to help us write the script. This lets us edit wherever we are if we have internet, and that lets us share the document so other people can access and edit it. We are using Final Cut 10 Pro to put the video together, as we are now experienced with using it. To record the audio, we are using a mobile phone and then importing the footage onto a MacBook, and then before producing the video in Final Cut 10.